Council meeting, and I recognize newly re-elected Councilman from Ward A, Nathaniel Miller, with the invocation.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly and merciful Father, as we gather here today, God, we ask you to protect us, give us guidance, and God, let us love our neighbors. God, as we come about tonight, we ask that when we return from this meeting, that we return home safely. These are all blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We now invite you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is our first meeting since the election. I want to congratulate those of you in the audience who have won election, and those of you to my left and to my right who have won re-election, as well as those who may not be here that ran. We have a great community. We have a deep bench, and I'm glad to see that there were some contested races in Blackstone, and the people's will continue. And the next, do we know when the next council and the mayor may be sworn in? Have we talked about that yet?
I talked to Jane Brown, and she could not be here, but one of her clerks is planning on be here at the December council meeting, so the current and the new will be sworn in at the December council meeting.
December 19th. Is that right? Very good.
December, yes.
I think that's right. Well, very good. Moving right along, folks. There's no public, do we have a public hearing? No public hearing. We have the minutes from the October 17th council meeting.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Mr. Miller has seconded Mr. Nash's motion to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Under visitors, we have one that was scheduled, and that is Deborah Rose of the Blackstone Chamber of Commerce regarding the Christmas parade. And we're
And I don't think she's gonna.
Yeah, she's out.
Chris Page is in her. Congratulations to you, Councilman-elect Page.
Thank you, thank you.
And thank you for your wonderful DJ work in town. Look forward to seeing you hopefully Friday, if not, maybe Saturday.
I appreciate it. Hopefully we don't get any rain. The chamber asked me to stop by and talk to you. Miss Rose is out of town. She's scheduled time off. We put in a request for the Christmas parade. It includes the street closures, nothing different than last year. We know the town has always been a sponsor, and we appreciate it. We're looking to see also if the town would be willing to sponsor the Christmas parade this year as well. Your donations do help us not only pay for the bands and the transportation, but the prizes that we give away for floats and also for marketing. And costs have went up a little bit this year, so we're asking council to not only approve our request for the parade request and the street closures, but also consider making a donation to support the event as well again this year.
Just for clarification, this council in years past has been asked in recent years for like $750 to sponsor, help pay for the bands. Is that needed or is that not needed?
Yeah, so it is. We're working on a limited budget, and those funds always help make the event special. What it is. We're looking to revamp it this year and get more attendance as well. So there may be some more marketing.
How many bands are?
Currently, we have, I believe there's 3, and normally we're waiting on a few more back, but I know right now we have 2 or 3.
Would that qualify as sponsorship if the town were to give the $750 for the bands? Would that qualify?
Yeah, we're gonna put you on the advertising, on the radio, put you on the print, put in the paper as well, your sponsorship.
What is council's pleasure? The last several years, the donation has been $750 to cover the bands. I believe that's my
And then
recollection.
we always return whatever we don't use, so we'd be doing the same.
What is council's pleasure?
Move to approve of the banner request and the funds of up to $750.
Ms. Jones is second to Mr. Nash's motion. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Just so, obviously you'll be here next year, but it is in talking finance committee, Ms. Hardy's brought it forward to us that this coming budget year, we're gonna ask that anybody that ever requests money from the town of Blackstone, it be done within the budget season, so that we can have.
So if
it
you're having a festival in November,
You gotta have it.
come to speak to council in April or March.
That way we can plan ahead.
That's
Right, and I attended that meeting.
No, this is,
Yeah,
we're talking about larger contributions.
yeah, and I talked to the new director about it after the meeting last week, so I think that we're gonna plan ahead for
I
that.
think we're talking possibility of your request would need to be in by March.
Right.
April-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And staff should have kind of a running list in their mind as to who has requested money in recent years in mid-budget years. I think that's good business sense. All right, Deborah Rhodes / Chris Page was the only scheduled visitor we had. Who else would like to address council at this time? I see Miss Jean Lax from, I believe she resides in Pickett Court.
Yes.
That's right, Pickett Court. And I agree with wholeheartedly with whatever she's about to say. I agree wholeheartedly with.
I want to say thank you, but I'm not very pleased. They're not where they should be. From the second one to the third one, there's so much space, it's unbelievable. You can pick up speed. The other night we were outside, this truck came speeding through. The bump didn't matter to him at all. And also, you've got one right in front of my house. I have 10 kids that live right around there, and that speed bump's right in the middle of where they play.
They don't play in the street, though.
Huh?
They don't play in the street. They're just nearby.
Yeah, but they also ride bicycles in the street, you know. And
I rode through there. I've ridden through there twice in a large Ford Explorer, and I will concur that the speed bumps are of minor consequence. As far as my little Chevy Equinox, I think the speed bumps need to be raised a little bit, but not a lot, but a little bit.
Were the locations not approved by engineers beforehand, I thought?
They were designed by the engineers and approved by council. There was, if you remember.
But-
Up to five.
Not
Up to five.
up to five, no, you guys voted on 4 and took out 1.
yeah,
Okay.
but
You voted not to put that 5th one in.
you need to put the fifth one in between 13 and 14.
So there's one on the side when you enter, and that means there's 3 on the other side?
No, there's 2 on each side.
Now, if you took out the one in front of my house, it would only be 4 if you put one between 13 and 14.
They're put in the locations that were presented and designed by B&B consultant. There was actually a 5th one, and when council voted to put them in there, council said, let's take the 5th.
That's why there's such a gap, I guess.
Yeah, they need
Well,
to
you
be-
wanted 5, and council went with 4, and I don't mind telling you that night I thought 4 was a plenty.
Right.
Having
But
dri-
Lonnie said, you know, wait a while and see, maybe put the fifth in later.
I'd add 2 more, to be quite honest. Because if you went ahead and added 2 between the longest distance, you would know immediately who the culprits are probably. And if you really wanted to take it seriously, you'd cut one of them literally in half, so that it doesn't have the roll on the other side. That'll teach more than a couple of lessons. And I do that about every other.
When we get to the point, I will say this though, it's something I thought about. When we get to the point where we're adding, where there's not enough speed bumps, we really have what I would say might be an enforcement issue.
Right.
Because if 5 is, we do 5, then why not 8? If you know that's the only thing I worry about in the future.
Right.
And it might just be we need to write some serious radar tickets. But one thing I've learned also though, when a vehicle slows down and accelerates, especially if it's got a loud exhaust, which is a whole other issue.
Oh, yeah.
It may sound like it's flying, but the police running radar may say, Billy, that was going 23 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it's 15 in Pickett Court.
That's a great point.
And
So, Mr. Town Manager, you can assure us that the bumps are going to be
I
elevated,
thought they were gonna do last week. They put the
yeah,
signs
I know.
Yeah,
That's
up. They didn't show
but it
up.
was cold.
I told them while they
doing
were
their
doing
job.
it.
I don't know if it was temperature, he told me they were
Colonial,
coming, and I'll be honest
But-
with you, I drove over them tonight, and obviously the old paint's still on, so you can still see that.
Are we paying double time for these then? I mean,
Are
if
we
they
paying
didn't
double
do
time?
them correct to begin with?
Pay them to the amount of asphalt.
All right.
you know.
I know, I'll be honest with you. I know
destruction.
you can't do it in December, January, and February. But come March, when it gets warm, I expect to be first, not
They still be able
last.
to get it. If we have a spate of warm weather here. They haven't closed
It's
the
coming
plant
up
yet
right now.
completely, but if it stays like it is now, it's done for the year. But if we have a section of cold or warm weather, literally, they came and put the signs up last week.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we change the speed limit, just out of curiosity?
It was already been lowered.
We lowered it to 15,
Right.
2-3 years ago.
I thought 7.5 was.
It was 25.
No, really, I'm serious, we've done that before.
15
But the
was-
sad irony of all this is this, and I'm not dare blaming you at all. It's not- You're just being the messenger, and we appreciate it. But this council for at least 5 years heard about the narrowness of Pickett Court. When
Right.
people, how are emergency vehicles going to get through there? And now we hear it's a drag strip,
Well,
and it's just sort of like that does not compute.
well, let me
Roger.
tell you something.
Mr. Rogers.
I've lived in Pickett Court for over 50 years. I've asked this this council for 2 things the whole 50 years I've been there. They've never done it. I ask them for one more thing, they do it, and they screw it up really. And,
This last council didn't screw anything up, the contractor did.
I know that.
It's not the
But I
council-
gotta blame
Told them what they
somebody.
were doing.
It's not the town's fault.
I
They
gotta-
should have been taller. The instructions were to make them the same size as the ones that are on Harris Street.
That's
next to the
right.
Basketball court, and the contractor just didn't make them the same size. That was the description. They even had a set of drawings.
Right.
It's just not big.
You do dips also.
Huh?
You do dips also.
Well, one thing I'll tell you, not just pick a court, I'm hearing, and I know members of council are as well, there's a hue and cry around town. Speed bumps among people who live on streets are growing in popularity, and I've always said, if someone who's gonna be inconvenienced by a speed bump wants a speed bump, there might be a speeding problem there. I don't mind saying, the ones on Lunenburg Avenue during the construction got a little bit annoying, but then I realized, you know what, I don't live on Lunenburg, I live in Brunswick, and no one on Lunenburg was complaining about speed bumps. People who live near them said, keep them there.
But I'll tell you, I'm gonna warn you right now, come December, January, February, if they're not done, I'm gonna be sitting right there. I'm not gonna say a word, I just don't want you to forget I'm
We
here.
want you to. It's good. Listen, there's a lot going. We appreciate your persistence and
But like I said, Mr. Rawls will agree with me. There needs to be something done about the alleys, really. People speed through the alley.
in your observations, are the people who are speeding residents of Pickett Court, or are they visiting people in Pickett Court? Just in your just thinking out loud.
I don't know what the neighborhood, I'm not from here, my wife is, but from the backside of the neighborhood, there's that cut through.
MacArthur Drive.
Right, and they cut through it and use it as a shortcut, so I really wouldn't say they're a resident of Pickett.
Okay.
A couple people are. Yeah. But for the most part, it's people using that as a shortcut for whatever reason. I don't know
Yeah.
what it cuts off, but.
I do get complaints about the state police folks and their police cruisers cutting through and using it
I've
that
seen
way.
too many of them do
And-
that.
What do they
I
gain
think-
by that? They gain nothing by doing that. You get to Ridge Road.
I think mostly of them would be the kids from Kinston Forest who want to beat the traffic.
For parents that are doing drop off.
But like I said, if I was advising someone to get to Kinston Forest in a hurry, I would not tell them to go to Pickett Court and go to MacArthur Drive. I'd tell them to hang them right on Ridge Road.
Because, I mean, there's a long, long line on Ridge Road when Kinston Forest gets
Okay.
out.
Okay. Well, maybe that's okay.
And then when they come on West Entrance Road, there's a long line to wait too, so.
Okay. We're all in such a hurry. Isn't it great living in Southside Virginia? We can make fun of Northern Virginia and be in a hurry ourselves. Yes, Micah Lax.
Okay, I just want to say I'm sorry for being rude and stuff.
You haven't been rude at all.
And I just want to thank y'all again for the speed bumps. But like my grandma said, it does need to be higher and stuff like that. But I just want to appreciate y'all.
We
Thank you.
appreciate y'all. Listen, the wheels of government grind slow, but they do grow. They do eventually move forward. And we thank you.
And I thank you so much, too.
Thank the council and the manager. Anyone else? I know Mr. John Listman is here. Yes, Mr. John Listman, who's been taking very, very long showers on Oak Street, right? I just had to throw that out there to lighten up. Now, he's got a really interesting predicament. This is 2 Septembers in a row he's had a ridiculous water bill.
First of all, I've got the flu, which is why I'm trying to keep you all as safe
We
as I
appreciate
can.
that.
All right, I live at 712 Oak Street, apartment 1. The apartment was built by Frankie Williams back in 2005, now under the control of Access Realty as the rental agent. In September 2021, I received a water bill of 13,200 gallons. And I came to the council in January because of COVID. It was kept getting canceled. So I came to you guys in January, and Andre, your water guy, determined that was probably just a stuck flapper on the toilet. I would have heard it. I think I would have seen ripples in the water if that was the case, but I saw nothing. I heard nothing. Anyway, the council at that point decided it was probably a toilet issue. So they cut the fee in half, and I ended up paying $61 for water I didn't intend to use. Now, this September, I got a bill. I worked early voting this year. In fact, the mayor came out on the first day of early voting in Burkeville, and I was working. I came home one afternoon on a Wednesday, the 26th of October, and there was a note from the town taped to my door, and I opened it up, and it said I'd used 31,500 gallons of water in the month of September. That is 1,000 gallons a day. I called Holly the next day because I didn't get home till after you guys, the office had closed. I called Holly in your office the next morning, and she went and looked it up. The meter was actually read. It ran from September 1st to October 3rd because the 1st was a Saturday. It's also the day Hurricane Ian came through, and we had a power loss on the road. Anyway, so it's like a 33-day period, and it's 31,000 gallons. So that basically is 1,000 gallons a day, give or take. And that is assuming the leak or whatever it was started on the day the meter was read and ended on the day the meter was read again. Because my current charge following the 31,500 is 100 gallons. I checked that just this afternoon with Ashley, and your town manager has that statistic
And
too.
your usage typically is between 300 and 400 gallons
I'm
a
usually
month.
400.
400 gallons?
Yeah, in the months preceding the 31,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 months in a row that I use 400 gallons of water each month.
And is it true, Mr. Listman, you hired a plumber who came and looked?
I didn't. Access
Found
Realty.
no signs of leaks?
Access Realty sent the plumber.
You found nothing?
A&A Plumbing came out, and they found nothing. They came out on the 28th, that Friday. So it was like the day and a half after I got the notice on my door. They came out, they tested the toilet, they hooked up a thing to test for leaks anywhere in my system. They didn't find anything. They went out and read the meter. The meter at that point, and this is really baffling, the meter at that point from the end number that the town gave me as the meter reading on 3 October, it indicated I used 152 gallons in that 20-some day period. Now Ashley's telling me for the entire month of October I only used 100 gallons. There is something with that meter. Andre keeps saying it's not. Andre says he changed, that meter was put in 2015. But after my incident last year, he says he changed the counter part of it, the digital part that reads out. He said he changed that last year. The register, okay. I don't know the
Didn't, this has been September of the last 2 years, which is, I
two
guess, a coincidence.
Septembers in a row.
But each September, there was a weather event. This time, we had a power outage.
Right. Last year, Tropical Storm Odette in 2021. Tropical Storm Odette went up the East Coast. It didn't come into Virginia, but it threw some high winds. I don't remember if we had a power failure in that month of September. It would have been 17, 18.
Yeah, I was about to say,
That's what, yeah.
So water meters, so that right takes that out of right there. So water meters not.
Yeah,
Not a
Andre
power-
said it's a battery. He said it's like a 30-year battery.
Council last year, if I'm not mistaken, it was in January of this year actually, gave you relief on no sewer charges.
Right.
And cut it in half or charged him his normal consumption, 400 gallons, I want to say. What did council do in January? What did we do?
I paid my normal bill,
Which is about 400 gallons?
which is for 400 gallons, and then I paid an extra $61, which was half of the overage to 13,000 gallons.
But this is 31,000 gallons.
This is 31,500.
So have we found anything,
Andre's
Philip,
been out
or?
there, met with Mr. Lipman on site, took a new meter.
The plumber didn't find anything either. I have no explanation.
And, I'm at a loss, usually I try to build confidence in a particular meter, because we want folks to understand their meter readings are correct. 31,000 is too much.
And then to drop to
More
100.
usage. And, Andre's been out there.
Reading it by hand, or when we say by hand, actually going and looking at the top of the meter instead of looking at the node, are we getting accurate readings by looking at it with our own eyes?
I don't know if we've actually gone and read it with our own eyes.
What they
We
do
have
is-
to reread.
Yes, it's being touch read, so it's picking up on the line, and it's also being read by eye, and it's.
But a reread,
it's doing-
somebody does go back out there. I don't have an explanation for 31,000.
But I go from 400 gallons to 37,000
To 150,
to 100.
100.
Yeah, I mean, the day the plumber came out, my figuring based on the number that was actually on the meter versus the number that I've been given as my overage, it indicated I used 152 gallons in October. Now I talked to Ashley, the meter was read actually 3 days after that, and it indicates I only used 100 gallons. So,
Say one thing, either way, I commend you.
but I mean, it's like,
We read, the meter's read in hundreds. So
Right.
that's why you're saying it's 152, unless you use to 200 gallons, that's how the meter's read, it only reads in 100.
So we estimate downward.
So unless it reads in 100, so so as you use 100 gallons, your meter will trip. And then you use another 100 gallons, your meter will trip. So it's not gonna be read 152 or 150, it goes by hundreds.
So, but anyway, my next bill will be for 100 gallons.
So you're looking at it, ladies and gentlemen, just,
For 3,000 though, right? Minimum of 3,000 charge, anyway.
Or you get charged this.
Yeah, but I mean, 31,000, I mean, they're charging me
Yeah, I understood, but
wait, the
after,
minimum, but yeah, whether you use 2,999 gallons or 20 gallons, your charge is the same.
100 gallons.
So, the question before this council is, I will say this about Mr. Lissman, I've got to know him. He's meticulous, he's precise, he's curious, he wants to find the answers to things, he's perplexed, as
I'm
we
angry.
all are.
I'm angry.
And well, I was going to save that for last.
Okay.
I think council certainly should waive all sewer charges. I would say the man's bill should be
I'm not,
less than 3,000, for whatever the $3,000 rate is.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not paying anything more than my normal bill. If you want to go to Access, I mean, everybody keeps saying this is a toilet problem. Well, that's not me. That's Access Realty. That's part of the rental property.
Right.
That's not me. And I've already talked to Liz Lynn. She's going to go to the owner of the apartments and see about putting a whole new toilet in. But that doesn't take care of this problem. It may prevent future ones, hopefully.
I just think it's bizarre that it happened 1 year
At the same
from that
time,
time.
September,
Didn't know we.
September to September.
there's two outliers.
Power outage.
Two outliers, September and weather events in each September.
But they're not hooked up power.
Correct.
Power
I
has no-
agree.
no
All right.
Factor to it. Been
I
at
mean-
it 30 years, messing with water lines and things. And I know you don't wanna hear it, but traditionally, big water bills are caused by toilets hanging up. Andre's not lying to you, he's been at it longer than I have. But in this instance, we're not seeing a toilet leaking. We're just getting the register and the water registering 31,000 gallons. Andre has put a new meter in or a different meter and checked that in your presence. And Andre's come to me and said, I don't have an immediate obvious solution. He said, I just don't know what it is. 31,000 is a lot.
Could it be on the sewage end? Could it be on the sewage end? Is it red?
There's no meter on
Only
the
red.
sewer.
There's no meter in the sewer. We just charge the sewer
I
based on
mean,
how much water.
I was home every night in September. I was working early voting, so I was a couple of classes in Burkeville in the evenings, but I was home every night.
I mean, even
And-
if you Google how much water can a toilet leak,
Right.
an average leaky toilet wastes about 200 gallons of water per day. So we're still over and above all that. That's why I just think it's bizarre. I mean, I don't know. It's just,
I think if you're suggesting put it back to the minimum, because I don't have a
That's
better,
what I
I
was
don't
gonna-
have an argument to this.
yeah.
I can't contest.
I would
Mr.
like to
Lessman's
see
opinion.
Access replace a toilet though.
I was
If
gonna
we're
say
gonna,
that
if we're
too.
gonna
Yeah.
reduce it to the minimum, I would like to see if we can get Access to go ahead and
Just
replace
willing
it
to
in
go back
case.
to the minimum.
Can this council do that? Because we're dealing with we're dealing with, it's his bill.
Well, irregardless if it's 100 gallons
I
or
think
3,000
Access is gonna be
gallons,
good
same
about it. I
problem.
mean, they're,
I'm sure they would be, but I just don't know, can this council require that?
I will certainly talk to.
well, I don't think.
Okay,
it would.
okay.
It wouldn't be
think we
through.
can
I
vote.
mean, Miss Lynn knows about all of this. I talked to her today, and then Andre called me right after that, and then Ashley called me after that. So, you know, I mean, I've had everybody involved. As you said, I'm meticulous in this. You know,
If you tell
I'm
me
just
that-
saying, I told Liz, and I'm just telling the council, I'm gonna pay my normal bill on Wednesday. I get my social security check like I always do on the fourth Wednesday of every month. And I will pay my electric and my normal, like 400 or 500 gallon worth of water and the sewage and all that stuff. I will pay that on Wednesday. That comes to $130.04. That leaves, on the current bill, that leaves $483 and some change.
That you like waived.
Well, I'm not gonna, I mean, you can go to Access Realty and get it from them, because
Well,
if it's a toilet
I think
problem,
council wants to be fair. Council, what's your pleasure? This would
I
be a,
move to lower the bill just for this instance, because it's happened before, to the minimum of 3,000 gallons, whatever it be, because it's
What
not gonna
we'll
cost
try
any
to do
more.
is, and I don't understand why it's just 100 gallons. I don't understand that it's accurate, and Ashley gave me a note to it. But let's read it more often during the course of the month and see if we can.
See if we can
find
track it.
Especially in September, obviously.
and if I'm still here in September, I'm gonna get a lawn chair and a cooler, and I'm gonna sit on top of the water meter in
have a watch
September.
party.
I have no idea why 2 Septembers
Mr.
in a row.
Nash has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm gonna give the second to Mr. Miller. Any further discussion? How much was his bill?
My norm-
To a minimum, which would be like $49.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
All right,
Thank you, Mr.
so I'll
Lissman.
just pay my normal bill then.
If Mr. Lissman told me it was 12 noon right now, I would believe him. I mean that.
Well,
He's a veteran.
I've enjoyed having you as our mayor, and I wish you good fortune. And I, from time to time, will still pump you little articles when we're big.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Any other visitors at this time? This is the first of two opportunities to address your council. And seeing and hearing, I see one more. Is this, Jan Daniel regarding the lamppost?
It is.
Come forward, please. We are very pleased with how, autumn-esque our town looked.
I gave him your letter.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
she
much.
wants to continue this with Christmas, I believe.
I do.
Is that correct?
It is.
Jan Daniel, Tada the bakery.
That is me.
Tada.
Can I just read, can I just read,
Sure.
will that
sure,
work
just-
for you guys?
Yes.
All right. To the Blackstone Town Council, decorating the lampposts with the scarecrows for the fall season was not only fun, but an opportunity to bond as a community. We would like to continue decorating the lampposts seasonally, starting with Christmas. The goal is to inspire and encourage our downtown community to decorate the lampposts. This would not be a competition, there would not be prize money, nor are we asking for any sustaining funds. Winner. We just want to share the fun of decorating with the joy of the season. The decorations would go up after Thanksgiving and remain throughout the holiday season. Additionally, we will be available as contacts to organize this endeavor and offer decorating guidance to anyone seeking it. We thank you for your consideration. Jan Daniel, Tada the Bakery, Susan Fuller, The Black Pig, Gloria Edgerton, Edgerton Flowers and Gifts, Rose Allen, Edgerton Flowers and Gifts, and Jeannie Johnson, Liberty Hollow Sweets.
I had a question. Are you planning on doing that this year?
Absolutely.
Two, obviously, we'd want to do them on posts that only have the reeds, correct?
That's the idea.
Every other.
Yes, Eric, yeah.
Can we avoid the corners?
I will tell you this, and they look wonderful, but I was trying to make a left-hand turn one day, and it was so much around the lamppost.
Yeah.
And actually, I told my wife, I said, "There's a sight distance here." And she's like, "I'll just deal with it." I said, "I'm okay with it," but I could see where it was causing a hindrance slightly.
Is that agreeable? Could you avoid the corners? Just so people, when they're turning, they can.
We actually
keep 'em
plan,
thin.
well, we actually plan to avoid a lot. So it's not as crazy, if you will, as it was for the fall. We want to keep it tasteful, obviously. But if you'd prefer us not to do any on the corner, we can respect that.
We did have that problem in front of J&L Survey.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
great. I mean, it was
That was where I had the problem.
fantastic.
Was that,
A car couldn't see, but my truck I could see fine. I was like,
Right.
something
Low to the ground. had
Right.
The
difficulty.
lower you were.
if we were just to wrap the poles in, say, tinsel and Christmas balls on the corners, would that be okay with you? Because that's where we're thinking. We don't want to do anything ostentatious for
I'm
Christmas.
cool with that, as long as you don't create a turning hazard.
We'll rein ourselves in.
And then one other question I did have some questions asked to, and it doesn't sound like you're gonna charge per pole, correct?
Absolutely not.
Because I heard some ideas where people were worried about, they were being charged for town property.
Right. So that was the wonderful thing about the fall was that was a fundraiser for Second Saturday, and so they were charging to utilize the pole. We're not doing that. We just want people, we want the community, and they don't have to be business owners, which is the other cool thing, anybody, to come out and to decorate so that we're keeping our,
Today, South Hill started doing their poles for Christmas.
did they? Yeah. Well, we want to keep our little Hallmark town going.
We love it. We love the
So-
idea. Be nice to have some more lampposts to decorate. West Maple. Sorry.
So if we're not going to go nuts on the corners there, is it okay if we just wrap them?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I just want to avoid
It
traffic.
just got a little husky there at the base, and for those of us driving, it's,
Yeah. No, we're not going to bring the back 40 field in
Little husky.
or anything.
Little
Yeah.
husky.
Yeah.
Does council want to just agree by common consent that we applaud the initiative? It's done wonders to enhance our downtown. And because you mentioned Second Saturday Art Walk, I do want to say that's been a great thing for our community. No drama, no controversy. People coming downtown, listening to music, seeing artists I'd never even known around us who were artists. That's
energy.
Hallmark, like you say. That's downtown. All right, thank you, Ms.
We
Daniel.
thank you.
Daniel is also decorating the Santa house in C Park.
Well, double thank you. Double thank you.
With Susan Fuller and Jeannie Johnson have been adding their, mostly Susan.
I've said for
so.
years, the best thing about Blackstone is we've got a healthy mix of what I call newcomers, longtime residents working together, good synergy. It's been going strong. We appreciate that.
Well, it seems like all the creative were heavy on the 300 block, so we take advantage of that.
All right.
So, thank you
We're
so much.
impressed. We appreciate it. Anyone else before we get to the second part of our agenda where we allow citizen comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the meat of our agenda. And that is our fire chief's report. I see Deputy Chief Tomer here.
Mayor's.
I'm sorry, Deputy Chief. I'm sorry.
I'm not that
Deputy
gone
Chief
yet.
Bears.
I'm not
You know,
that far
my time
gone
has
yet.
come. My time has come.
Straying and graying, but. Good evening. As y'all can tell now, fire chief is not here. He's in Chicago with family. Just to update a couple things. Tower 9 is still set to be the first part of the year. We've ordered some parts and everything tool-wise for it, starting to come in now. We had a good time in September up there, taking a look at it and definitely taking our time with each step of it to make sure it's exactly what we need for the town and the county. Lee Williams has been working very well with the recruitment and retention part of the department. He put on a vehicle extrication class. I believe we had 24 people take it between Blackstone Crew, Burkeville. I believe Dinwiddie jumped in on that as well, with no cost for us or the town. December 6th, Edgar Johnson Memorial is going to be at the station at 6 o'clock. And for those who don't know, that's our only firefighter who passed away in the line of duty. And that was in 1962. Blackstone Primary School is once again working with us to do a poster project, and what that is the kids all work towards the theme of Fire Prevention Week, which is don't wait, plan your escape. So they all do poster boards on what that means to them, and the top 5 from each grade level, they give it to us, and we pick the top 1 from all the grade levels, and we give them a fire truck ride to school. So we're going to be working that out again.
Does the clerk, can she?
You can ride up front.
Okay.
You can drive if you want
Can I
to.
beat the horn as
Absolutely. Absolutely. 3 members took firefighter 2 in Meharrin. They tested out and did their live burn this past Sunday. And this month we celebrate life member Dion Tomer, 31 years of service, Chris Urich, 21 years of service, and Mike Smith with 15 years of service.
Awesome. Outstanding. Any questions for our Deputy Chief Bears?
Thank you, sir.
We thank you for everything y'all do. Y'all still have smoke detectors. If anybody out there needs a smoke detector, do y'all still have a supply?
We had 50 of them last month, and then we went through them all. So Ace is going to give us a pretty good deal again and get some more, because we normally have them on the rise themselves and at the station. So if we go to a call that needs one, or if while we're there we take a look around, hey, you don't have to have have a smoke detector here. We go ahead and put one up for them. So that's been very, very good for us.
Public
Good for
service
them as
announcement
well.
here. Would it be safe to say, in your experience, say, over the last couple of years of the structure fires we've had in Blackstone, which have been relatively few, it's been kind of shocking to me how many places have not had any working smoke detectors.
Absolutely.
So if you're out there, please. We've had some tragedy in this community and near tragedy as well.
Yeah, I think you can get them from Walmart for $5 or $6, and now it's people are starting to use gas to heat their homes and stuff. So carbon monoxide is also going to be coming into play now. So.
Yeah. I've got a room with the gas logs. I keep the pilot light on when I keep the door shut. And when I open the door in the morning to go in there, I smell. I'm like, if I'd fallen asleep on the sofa last night with the door closed, I wonder if I could have gotten carbon
Silent
monoxide.
killer. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you. All right, folks, you got payment of bills. The first batch totals $937.77.60. These are checks not yet approved.
Move to approve.
Mr. Nash has moved to pay. Is there a second?
Second.
We'll give the second to Ms. Williams. Any discussion?
I do have one at the very bottom. We do some meter deposit returns, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's an individual on there that I know that has owed the town money before, and and they gotta return, do we only hold that for that property itself?
Clearly, if you owe us, say, taxes or something like that, the ladies are not under no instruction to
Correct.
subtract it, any utilities or anything like that. I would think utilities are utilities and taxes are taxes.
Agreed. I didn't know if there was another property, because I know what this property's
Yeah,
for, and I didn't know if it was a
different
previous property that,
potentially, right.
if maybe we need to cross-check, I know it's more of a headache, but cross-check to see if a previous property that this individual had outstanding balance. I know it's a little bit more, but we don't give out but what, 6 or 8 deposits a month, so.
Yeah, we have a policy.
Can you garnish like a utility deposit if they owe for
That's what I'm asking, can we legally take their deposit and apply it elsewhere?
I'm not sure you can do that.
I would doubt that.
Yeah. We can look into
We
it,
do
but
have a policy in place that if they've had service in the town of Blackstone before, like a utility bill, if they are delinquent on an old utility bill, they have to pay that balance in full before they're allowed to get the service.
or they can get an overcut on it.
It's just something for us to look into. I know it's a little bit more work, but it's ultimately the taxpayer dollars, so I
True.
wanna make sure they're protected.
Good point, Mr. Nash. Motion's been made and duly seconded. Roll call vote tonight. Do we start with Ms. Scott?
We do.
All right, it was very simple. We'll go from right to left tonight. All in favor, starting with Ms. Scott.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. The next batch of bills are bills to be paid. They total $331,366 and 64 cents. Is there a motion to approve?
We wanted to make sure you knew from the original, bill list that was sent to you, Jennifer.
No, I'm sorry. It's $331,366.
What
Yes,
is
so
this
it's correct.
meditation?
So the one at your desk is the correct one you're approving.
Meditation.
Okay.
It's correct up here on the screen.
All right. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones is second and Mr. Nash's motion. The correct total, now I've got it here in my desk, $331,366, right?
64 cents.
364. Yeah, 64 cents. All right. Any questions?
Yes.
All right.
Let me get there.
And these bills are broken down by department. If you have any questions during the meeting, you can get a copy of these bills. They're your bills.
Under electric department, Philip Farmville Wholesale Electric, it's a pole lamp. Is this one that got damaged? Do we ever get insurance proceeds from these poles that get damaged? I mean, it's $3,400 almost.
Sometimes
so-
we do. I can tell you there's a gentleman 10 years ago, Mr. Abbott, that has not reimbursed the town. Sometimes the insurance companies pay him. I'm not familiar with exactly which one this is, but I'm thinking it's the one that was over near Steel Bangers and in that block.
Correct.
But I don't know exactly. And if we're entitled to collect it, I know Brittany will send a bill if we have the police department giving us the name and the contact information and all that sort of thing. And I don't know the status. Do you write offhand, Brittany?
These things are $33.35 now?
There's a pole lamp. and I assume they're the ancient
$3,300.
pole lamp.
I thought they were $1,000 each. They're $3,300
You
each.
just said you wanted them on Maple.
Well, I'm on
You change your mind now.
What page is that on, Eric?
It's under electrical.
Page
so
7 of
it's page
9.
7 of
7.
7 of 9.
We need
Farms-
to see if Carol submitted it to insurance,
Insurance.
number one, so we'll check into that.
I mean, this is
If she
a high-
submitted it, and then normally Dan will give her paperwork.
Even if we don't have
But it
their
doesn't necessarily go to
insurance.
our insurance, it goes to their
Well, I know,
insurance
but
first.
if we don't get,
Then
say
it
if
goes
someone
to-
hits it in the middle of the night,
That's right.
our insurance premium or our deductible's $1,000.
If the
We
police
should
department
still
has the
get
information with-
$2,300 back.
I normally do submit, so with the police department, even if it's a hit and run, if they bring you the thing, I will submit to the insurance, so we've gotten reimbursed
Okay.
before. Yeah,
It just
you're
didn't
right,
have an
we-
R or a P next to it, so I didn't know if it was
They will not
reimbursed.
reimburse the force account labor though, for the guys time
Correct.
putting it in, doing all that.
Yeah.
But, we have been reimbursed for full lamps in the past.
Okay.
I just don't, like Bill said, I don't know which one this is, or what it is, or.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let's ask Dan to check, cause if insurance, I mean, if our deductible's $1,000, we only need to pay $1,000.
Correct.
I think our deductible's $500.
Or 500, even better.
Better.
And
Good
then
catch,
one
Mr.
other,
Nash.
tavern, under tavern, we have termite warranty. Don't we have termite issues there?
We
And
had
we're-
some.
We're paying for warranty now at this point?
We did, we had the, exterminator, we bid it out last year and, or 2 years ago maybe, and so this is just the warranty,
This is
so
for
they
them to
have
service the property.
Yeah, they've already fixed the problem, and this is just the
Okay,
warranty
I'm
to
just-
keep it, yeah.
Okay.
We had a swarm, didn't we? Went like a
Yeah,
swarm
it
in
was-
one in the
I'm
back
sure.
room.
I don't know if that was.
If,
termite
we don't know if
or
it was active or whatever it was.
Bugs. It was a type of bug.
But because of the age of the building, and as we talked about, we need to stay on it on a regular basis.
And oh, by the way, the age of the building, this will come to light soon, but we've always been taught in Blackstone that the tavern dates to 1794 or so. But there's new information that the Nottaway Historical Society has found that tavern may date to the 1750s. The Historical Society went to Mia County, which Nottaway was part of until 1789, and found that when the land was conveyed to John Swartz, it had a building on it. So the Swartz Tavern might be older. Maybe Washington did sleep here. So let's get that going. We've got a motion and duly seconded. We'll start with Ms. Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. It's not what you are, it's what people think you are. Moving right along to appropriations. We have 3, and most of these are, we've got lightning damage to the wastewater treatment plant, insurance proceeds for the, and I'm gonna give Mr. Nash full props. Appropriation number 2, Mr. Nash several months ago said, could we submit the malfunction of the peak generation plant to our insurance claim? And I sat there thinking to myself, that's a Hail Mary. Well, lo and behold, $223,065 saved by that question. So I give full props to Mr. Nash on that. And then the street department, $326,444. Those are some wonderful change orders on the wonderful South Main project, which,
We took the paving much farther than the original project.
Right.
Original project stopped.
the 10th.
No, the original project stopped in between Community Convenience and
At Dollar General, really.
Rick's.
But you went all the way almost to
We went all the way to
Almost to
car
Clay's.
wash and laundromat down there. So
Yeah.
that's a good portion of this, plus the sidewalk beyond the church
Was it
parking lot
last?
going down is part of
It looks really good.
It looks good.
it. So,
All right. We need a motion to approve these change orders. These were not budgeted.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones is seconded. Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call, starting with Ms. Scott.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Committee reports. Start with the insurance.
I think the first item is airport insurance renewal, and it says specifically Finance Director Hardy will report on that.
And there's an
It's just
increase.
that
There's a
they're
pretty.
stimulating airport insurance.
There's a pretty significant increase in this, which is kind of, isn't it? 2 or 3,000.
If you go to the airport renewal tab, you can see last year we only had to pay $5,400, and then they came back with a quote of $14,000 for this year. So we cast the net. It wasn't back in time for the committee, but you can see here that the lowest bidder is AIG for $5,000 for the premium. That's the cheapest. We've never been with them before, but this does flow through Versa, so they've been checked and make sure they're all comparable and are in line with what we have, yes. So that's what I'd like to do.
Recommendation.
Yes, sir.
And Versus as well. Members
Go
of
with
council.
AIG.
AIG. What is your pleasure, members of council?
I'm trying to find it. What's the increase? Because you said that wasn't back before committee. The airport liability policy renewal equals.
Last year we paid $5,475.
Was that on here? I think that was that in the original?
You just click that
Page with the
airport
blue.
renewal tab over here, so it's right there.
Oopsie.
And then you
There
can
you
see that first column has from 21 to 22, we
Okay.
paid 5,400, so we're actually saving
So it didn't go up that $3,200.
Gotcha.
I moved to award it to, is it Ace Property?
AIG.
AIG.
Second.
Motion been made and duly second. Any further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote, starting with Councilwoman Scott.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Next up, under your fire department's insurance renewal.
If you look at it, the fire department insurance renewal, it looks like the figures were flat, or actually even a little less, from McNeil and Company and from the Hartford Accident and Death Policy. And I'll go back to the recommendation.
Hartford, in the amount of $87.68, and then property casualty with McNeil in the amount of $10,182.
$116 decrease from last year.
So they're pretty much flat or less.
Flat or less.
Members of council, what's your pleasure on the fire department insurance?
So moved.
Mr. Miller has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones has seconded.
That's for both, correct?
Yeah, take both.
Yeah, well,
We'll have a roll call vote starting with Councilwoman Scott.
Aye.
aye.
That motion carries 6-0. There's two other items under insurance. Workers' comp, vehicle and accident. Manager Van Norbeck has recommended, said Versa has recommended waiting to bid till the first of the year.
Yeah, I think they spoke with Jennifer and, they indicated they would have a full year's losses. And, so that would be helpful when bidding out, and the recommendation from Versa was to wait until after the first of the year. And we presented to the committee and they were agreeable with that.
And then the health insurance, they recommend waiting to bid that out next year.
Well, I don't think that, the recommendation came from the carrier. I think it came from staff to the committee that would wait one more year to do it. It's a lot of work to do. And, since we're doing the other items, we've got auditor going on, we've got, property and casualty out to bid. We asked them to give us a year. And it really hadn't been that long. I think Jennifer looked at it either fiscal year 17 or 18.
Well, we compared it to state prices back in FY19, and then we did a full rebid back in 18.
Well, I've read the minutes of the committee meeting, and I just had forgotten about this. We do allow town retirees to remain on the town health insurance plan.
Correct.
What is their contribution?
They pay 100% of their premium, as I understand it. But I think the overall cost to the town and subsequently to the employees is higher because we do offer it.
It raises, because retirees tend to have more claims, wouldn't they? So we're kind of a situation like Southside Electric was in a few years ago. That was highly unpopular when Southside dropped their retirees.
I thought the last individual retiree that was on there had passed away, but there's another gentleman that is, Mr. Poole is
And
now on.
it's their supplemental plan is whatever it is that they pay $200 a month, and they all like it because it's health, vision, and dental supplemental, I think.
But if tomorrow, let's just say, pretend we had numerous folks that could retire, and let's say we had 10 employees from the town retire, under our current policy, would they also be allowed to stay on the health insurance plan?
Town council's allowed on the health insurance plan. If you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
You're retiring.
I didn't know that. I'll take the lump sum.
Are we talking retiring at 65 and getting on the Medicare, or?
Right, I understand. It's different for different people, right?
Like Dan could retire now, he's got 30 years in, but he could COBRA with us for 18 months.
Right.
But if he's not of the
age.
Medicare age, then, so that's just the supplemental
Okay.
one.
Okay,
He could COBRA for 18 months, it's fine.
Gotcha.
But, if he's not of that.
Well, we've got two individuals, one retiring next month in the town of Blackstone that I know of, and then one in the wastewater treatment plant that's soon to be, one or
Must be
two.
around the first year.
So,
but they're paying the premium. That's not the quote
but
unquote
it
burden on the town.
spreads- But it
The
spreads.
claims.
Claims.
You're increasing your
across
claim.
The overall cost to everybody is increased because that's
I
available.
think it's something that needs to be looked at when we bid it. I mean, because you're not gonna know until you bid it. If you were to take that out of the factor, what does it do with your pilot, with your, I mean, it,
If you remember, our town attorney was on the town's insurance. For an
We-
extended
we-
period of time. You remember that?
I do remember that vividly, that discovery that was made. I do remember that.
I mean,
But you
just
told
to
me
see
something,
what the-
so
it's
members
no
of
need us
council and the
talking
mayor
about
on
it,
health
it's
insurance right now?
$100
If you
I mean,
look at the state code,
Okay.
we just, several members in Amelia were on Amelia County.
Okay.
insurance. I was there, so.
Right,
Unless something changed, but if you read the state code, it does say you guys are eligible for benefit.
okay. Does council have to take action for that to happen, or?
I think you would have to take action to.
Okay,
To
okay.
make that, so I don't think it would be just one of the things that,
you can just sign up for it.
Gotcha.
you do. I think council needs to say, hey.
Feeling a little flushed here all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth, if, it's worth Jennifer, Ms. Hardy just asking the question if it's even worth us having the conversation. Is it gonna, could it save us, does it cost us $100 for having one
The
person?
TLC used to
or-
come down and present to Philip and I, a big packet, talk about what drove, well, since COVID, they just blast as a packet.
Right.
So we can probably ask to sit down and
To see
figure
what
out
the difference
what's
would be.
driving our premium.
But I do remember the last time we bid it out, that there was a question. We had some retirees, we may have had two at that time. My memory was the two of them, and they indicated that does create a significant amount of increase in cost. In the overall.
Just the law of averages. It's all about risk, mitigating risk. That's what they do. All right. Any other action needed on the health insurance, on the insurance committee report? Hearing none, we'll move on to health and ordinance. We have a recommendation on the payment agreements and extensions. And I learned through reading the packet that we only have 10 people in Blackstone on the budget plan. Is that right?
I think it's more than 10, but it's not many more.
A dozen?
Really?
So this council went through considerable hoops
Time.
to establish the budget plan. And after all that, and we've had some cold winters, we're told that 13 are on it. So one of the recommendations, I believe, is to abandon that, isn't it?
I think that's in the financial committee.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Let's go with the payment agreement and extensions.
Thank you so much.
Right now, if you get per 12 months 2 extensions. Is that right?
Yes, so right now you get 2 10-day extensions within a 12-month period. And that's just the customer can call up before cutoff day or on cutoff day and say, I'm not able to pay, I need a 10-day extension, and we just put it on a list. However, we're getting lots of payment agreements now, and it's almost like, we're getting them every month. So I think there should be some type of cap on that, because the town, we work on these electric funds, so they need to be paid monthly. So I'm recommending 3 payment agreements, 3 15-day payment agreements within a 12-month period. So that's 5 times you can get assistance on your utility bill within a year.
It's not assistance, it's just allowing.
I mean, not assistance, that's
Okay.
what I mean. Just
On
an
the due date.
extension, a different due date, right.
No, keep track of that.
You said 3 or 5?
So it's 2 extensions, you can get 2 10-day extensions, and then 3 15-day payment agreements. And the difference is the extensions, you can just call up, hey, I need an extension. Payment agreements, they physically have to come in the office and sign the payment agreement.
I mean, I may be a bully, but I mean, it's 3. If they don't live up to the first one, or
Then they don't get another one for 12 months.
okay,
But if they abide by it, then you'll give them up to 3 in a 12-month period. Does everybody have a different? I marvel at what y'all do, because to me it'd be easier to just say calendar year, because everybody's got a different 12-month schedule. Wouldn't it be easier for y'all to go just 12
It's hard because it depends on when people put
when they
service
started
in,
coming
right?
here, right?
And we just have a sheet that we track it with. We've got a pretty good system down.
I'll see how y'all do it. Well, you've heard the treasurer's recommendation.
doing that many, does it create a burden? I mean, how much of a burden does it create on you guys?
We've been doing it so long now without a policy, it's really just normal to us.
For COVID, we were like very, very generous. During COVID, we didn't cut anybody off.
Right. We didn't
Uh,
cut off for almost a
I
That's,
think we gave them a 25% reduction in the bills and things, so.
Out of the extensions that we give,
Mhm.
what would you say the percentage are that are never fulfilled?
Actually not that, it's pretty low. Most people fulfill
Just
them.
asking, because I don't want us to put so many extensions out there that we put a burden on the electrical.
Most everyone, unless they move out of town, most everyone fulfills their extensions and payments agreements, because if you don't, you get disconnected.
I don't
So-
think you understand, right now, we're almost unlimited.
Right.
And this is putting a cap on it, so it actually will codify and
Right now
create
you could
5
get
total
12
a
payment
year.
agreements a year.
Yeah. So it reduces the number.
there's no power company in Virginia that does that, that allows that, I'm sure.
No, I'm just trying to get a grasp on, and I guess how much do those that pay their light bill each month end up ultimately having to pay the piper, because eventually that electric bill has to be paid, whether it's through increased rates or whatever it be. So that's why I asked, how often are they not fulfilled?
Not very often. The
Okay.
people
I mean, that makes me
fulfill
feel
them.
better.
Yeah,
That's good.
people fulfill them.
And I understand, so I mean,
Every now and then we have a payment agreement that's not paid, but usually 9 times out of 10, I'd say it's because that person moved out of town.
My experience, a lot of it is, I don't get paid till Tuesday.
and I
Mhm.
And
understand.
cutoff is Wednesday,
Yeah.
so
Right.
can you give me till next Tuesday or next Wednesday?
And then, like they said, if they don't pay it, then they're disconnected, so then they
Yep.
probably
And then they
won't come
don't
here.
get
And then
another-
they're all,
And they
they're,
don't get another one for 12 months.
So you're comfortable with the policy that you guys have? I move to, do y'all want to start it immediately?
If that's
I move that we start with the payment agreement policy for utilities effective immediately, that they presented for us.
Question, how's the customer gonna know about this?
So when customers sign up for service, we give them a copy of all utility policies.
What I mean,
Plus, when they call to ask for
And if they
extension,
call and ask
they're
for an
obviously
extension, we
told.
explain the policies to them.
right.
And obviously, it starts now. I mean, I
If Susie
would
Smith
think-
calls tomorrow and goes, hey, I need another extension policy, you're gonna say, well, last night council agreed
Mhm.
to cap it at,
5 a year. between payment agreements and
Right.
extensions.
Anytime any customer calls or comes in and asks about an extension, we explain the extension and payment agreement policy to them.
Will we post it on the website or?
I was gonna say post this
Yeah.
on.
Oh, yeah, everything you can do, that's
what I'm
great.
saying,
Does anyone want to second Mr. Nash's
I have a
motion?
question.
Yes.
We're gonna start this effective tomorrow. Example, if I have done this 3 times this year or 4 times, that's not gonna count against me
It won't.
because we're starting the
Yeah, we
policy.
start fresh.
I just think we need to make that clear to everybody.
Good question.
Because we don't want nobody to be out in the cold for winter time.
Correct.
If we can help it.
No, and this has already got off to a cold winter start. Great question, Ms. Williams. Who would like to second Mr. Nash's motion?
I second it.
I think you got some people.
Ms. Williams is going to second. We'll have Mr. Michael Bagley, and
I'm not gonna second that motion, but,
I'm not going to let you.
okay, in the beginning, when Mr. Green was on the council, he and I went back and forth about the beginning of the budget program. Even then, I don't think that the budget program was published and put forth to the people that they would understand it. Even myself, I went on a budget plan, and some kind of way, I worked my way off the budget plan. So when I signed up, she gave me my yearly use prior to. I disagreed with that monthly fee. I paid it, ended up with, in the plus. Then I started, they told me for 4 months I didn't have to pay the utility last year.
Right.
So now I'm paying my regular bill. So going back to my previous statements is, I do not think the town people was notified properly, correctly about a budget plan. And I still believe that a budget plan will help the people.
You're probably right that a budget plan would help the people. The problem that the utility department is running into right now is the current software provider that is used for our utility service is not capable of doing it effectively.
And we had a staffing issue. I mean, we're gonna put it out there,
And
we
we're
had a
gonna,
staffing
and
issue.
this motion does not, what you're saying is very valid. This motion has nothing to do with that. That's going to come up though in a few moments.
Yes.
I see,
But you will see, we've talked about it while we've got them up. We do, in the next year, we hope to have a new accounting system to where this will be much easier to where you can opt into a budget billing plan.
But
Right
we
now, it's creating
still
so much headache over there.
Need to keep the people informed,
I agree.
and we do not do that effectively. I think, that's a personal opinion.
Agreed.
well, that's good. That's good to hear that. And I think, like I say, just because we know something, it's human nature to think, well, I know something, everybody knows it. And so it's not that way. It's,
But I've used it in 3 different states during my military career. It works.
Okay.
It works. But a lot of people give you negative responses about it. But it works.
but it requires you, Mr. Bagley, does it not, staff, some months you're going to overpay what your usage is, and I don't like that. Me personally, I don't want to ever overpay my.
It works out. It
Right,
works
I know
out.
it evens out in the wash, but it may work out in 1 month where I'm having a hard time. Oh, Billy, you got to pay $400 this month, and I'm,
But
but
it doesn't do that. If
but
you-
long as we have choices, that's the key.
You can go back and figure out how much approximately you will pay if you figure out what you pay from January.
Right, your 12-month consumption, right,
To 31 December 21, divide that by 12.
right.
And that will give you a ballpark figure. And then in Blackstone, they don't charge you any processing fee. But now, the average person, depending on the size of your home, probably paid less than $200 a month.
Right.
Now, granted that if you pay $150 this month and $150 next month, that's $300. But by the way our temperature is in March, you don't need no heat, no air conditioning, but you still pay that $150 and you get a plus.
Right.
You gain.
Credit, get that credit.
And when it comes to your year, it balances out. And everybody, I gotta pay $300. No, but me personally and my family, we have never had that problem.
Right.
It always balanced out.
Mr. Bagley, thank you. We're going to get back to this in just a moment, but right now the motion before the council is to grant the treasurer's recommendation on the extension policy. That's been motion's been made and duly seconded. Ms. Williams seconded the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. I saw a hand out there. Chris Page briefly.
Try
trying to talk before you voted, but if most people are paying the extension and the rate that people don't pay is very low, what's the problem with getting an extension? I mean, they're paying late fees, they're paying interest, they're
Well,
paying.
then what's the point of a due date at that point? I
Well,
mean,
no, and I get it, but I mean, people can call their telephone company up and say, hey, can I get an extension this month? And they'll be glad to give it to them. How can we do it?
If you can call your telephone company